The last exercise that we like to do on a jumping technique day is jumping off of an elevated box, such as the one in front of me. The box can be anywhere from 6 to 8 inches high, and I like the form of a ramp. It doesn't have any sharp edges or corners like a flat box would have. On this drill, the athlete gets back at 4-stride approach length. We'll be as aggressive as possible. We'll run off of the top of the box, exaggerating arm length, arm drive, and foot plant. You've got to be aggressive on this drill. The bar, as you'll notice, is very high. This allows the athlete to jump 6 to 8 inches higher than their personal best. It's a great exercise for 2 reasons. 1, you have to be aggressive off the ground, and 2, the athlete becomes accustomed to looking at bars very high in the air. When you move the bar from this position down to his personal best, it looks very manageable. It's not a scary thought at all. Hollis will now demonstrate some jumping from 4 strides off of a 6 to 8 inch box. All right, that was an excellent jump. Now, the thing that I'd like everyone to notice is the aggressiveness that Hollis came off the top of the box. He drove his arms violently, his lead knee was very violent, and he was very quick off of the box. Now, this gives him an opportunity to spend a lot of time in the air to time his feeling over the top of the bar. It also gives him a chance, as I mentioned before, to look at a bar that's very high over his head and become comfortable with the thought of attacking a plant and making a bar. On Thursday, there is a speed emphasis. We will do any number of these workouts. 6 150s through the curve, 16 to 17 second speed with a 4-minute recovery. Or we may do 3 300s at 36 with a 4-minute recovery. Or, to even emphasize speed more, 10 100s at 12 seconds or better with a 4-minute recovery. Thursday is a lighter day if we have a big meet on Saturday. If it's early in the season, we will go ahead and have a heavy workout day on Thursday and basically work through these early meets, trying to get as much out of our training sessions as possible. Identifying potential high jumpers. First, you start with a very lean individual. I have never seen a heavy, successful high jumper. Hollis Conway, for example, is 6 feet, a ½ inch tall, and 142 pounds. It's also an advantage to be fairly tall because you have a higher center of gravity before takeoff. Good speed allows a faster approach and more energy generated for the takeoff. So better than average speed is essential. Above average vertical jumping ability. This would be 28 inches for mature men, 18 inches for women, and an example of this is Hollis Conway, again, has a 30-inch vertical jump. This is not outstanding, which downplays the idea that you must have a great vertical jump to be a good high jumper. The most important thing is how you attack your plant. There are 3 factors in determining how high one can jump. 1 is the height, the center of gravity at the moment of takeoff. This is basically genetic, as an athlete will not be able to determine how tall they are. 2nd is the height, the center of gravity is raised during the jump. This is the conversion of horizontal momentum to vertical lift. The 3rd factor is the top of the bar efficiency or bar clearance. You must always focus on the 2nd aspect, the ability to raise the center of gravity. The approach. The objectives of the approach are, number 1, generate maximum speed. Notice I don't say maximum controllable speed because the word controlled automatically means slow down. We do not want to slow down. Obviously, the athlete cannot fail to execute the takeoff, but he must go as fast as possible. Number 2, the athlete must consistently arrive at a correct takeoff spot. And thirdly, the athlete must have the correct body position at plant. The recommended J approach. There are two portions of the J approach. The straight portion, which is the first first 6 strides of a 10-stride approach. This portion generates speed in a gradually increasing manner. Each stride is more aggressive than the preceding one. The curved portion, which would be the last 4 strides of a 10-stride approach, should be very aggressive with close attention being paid to accurately maintaining the integrity of the curve, a sliding through the curve concept. The jumper initiates the curve on the 6th foot contact, which is the inside foot. Thus eliminating the tendency to plant the outside foot and make a sharp football type cut. An effective rhythm pattern is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, jump. The lean away from the bar during the running of the curve is a natural result of fighting the centrifugal forces created by running a curve fast. The athlete will feel the curve become increasingly severe as the tempo speeds up and the takeoff point is approached. All right, the first thing that needs to be established is the perfect takeoff point. This can be done by having the athlete face down the length of the crossbar, standing erect and reaching with his inside arm, the arm toward the bar, barely able to touch the bar at this point, or not quite. At this time, the athlete will leave the pivot foot, the takeoff foot at the point and pivot facing directly away from the pit or the bar. At this time, he will take the initial 6 strides of his approach, which are on the straight, and then on the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th stride, he will curve, making the J part of the approach. Okay, after the athlete has accomplished this approach work 3 or 4 times, he will make these runs away from the bar, 6 strides on the straightaway, 4 strides on the curve. After doing this 4 or 5 times, the athlete will arrive at approximately the same spot. There will be a few variations, but you will have a general area that you can start your approach. Now, very simply, the athlete places his foot on this spot and will reverse the process, running 6 strides straight ahead and 4 on the curve, and should arrive very close to the exact takeoff point that the opposite drill was taken. All right, now that's an excellent jump. What most people won't realize, this is 7 feet made easy. The thing that I like in Hollis's approach that time, a lot of momentum. He really carried it well through the curve, off of the plant step, and transferred everything vertical. He made that transition from horizontal speed to vertical lift. That is the key to high jumping very well, is the transition of horizontal momentum as all you can handle into a vertical lift at the transition. At the very moment of takeoff, you have to take it straight up.